What's going on, guys? As you're all aware by now, I'm currently skiing in France and I'm recording this video on the 12th of March, Sunday, and I'm going to teach you guys about Team of the Week low points and when typically is a good time to invest in Team of the Week every single week, because a similar pattern you can apply every single week on when to invest in these cards, because similar things happen every single week. Let's get straight into the video and hopefully you can learn a thing or two. Obviously these prices are from like almost 2 weeks ago now. What can you do? And hopefully you can learn a thing or two, as I'm sure the information is still valid. This is one of the Team of the Weeks we were looking at a few weeks ago, and that is Romero, Foden, Firpo, and Anguissa, and I'm going to go through every single one and show you what happened to each of these cards, right? You were all aware I was a big fan of Phil Foden back in the day, and that was because his card was only 24k and the fodder price of 87s was in fact like 20k, and I thought, okay, well this card is really usable. His normal card can only play on the left, this one can play on the right, so he has some additional value, so I really like this card as an investment for that reason, and that's like one of the reasons why I invested in this card. Now, to teach about the low point. Typically the low point on Team of the Week comes on a weekend, because during the weekend you get those 3 Team of the Week packs, right? If you get your champs rewards, and that gives you a ton of supply. Not to mention they've already been in packs for a few days, the supply starts to continually increase along with lightning round supply on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to increase supply and drive price down. We're going to have a look at Phil Foden here and we're going to see how he did over the days. Phil Foden came out on this day, on the 1st of March, and obviously this is what happens. They get really flooded. Marquee matchups comes and they get crushed, and then they get a little rebound and people think, oh, Phil Foden's safe. Nope, he's not safe, because people start getting their champs rewards and he gets crushed. This is an example where we saw the low point on Saturday, early Saturday. Saturday is typically the day I believe to be the low point for Team of the Weeks every week. You see here he got as low as 23k, quite a few fluctuations. He actually hovered around this price for a long time. It was a very good card to laser sell. I really did like that investment. As you can see, the lowest point on this card was on a Saturday. Might have been early hours of the morning, could have been early hours of the next day. It was basically around then, even into Monday. Maybe we got some sort of gamble pack which drove him down. I think it was the hero pick, 1 of 5, which is a bit of a surprise and people were a bit hyped. But you can see, buying the dip on Friday really late night, Saturday really late night, or Sunday was pretty much the low point of this card. And you can see here, he then had a few more dips, but he didn't go under this price, so it's normally a good price to buy. And then he went out of packs and he's very, very gradually been rising. You see he's currently right now at price is 27. I'm sure by the time you see this he's higher, unless you've seen some crazy stuff on the market. That is an example of one low point on a card. You then move on to a card like Anguissa, who I also liked. He had very, very good stats, and he also was moving kind of like Foden, but not as good. Same spikes and then drops, and then a heavy, heavy drop here on Friday. He actually became fodder price. He actually was the cheapest 87 with these stats. I know, it's hard to believe, right? He moved like fodder. Fodder got a big boost here with the hero pack, and bang, he went to 25k. So that's why it's always good to invest in cards which are fodder, and informs tend to be the cheapest fodder on the weekend. It's a really good look for an investment if you're looking for something low risk. He obviously went down as fodder went down. Fodder then got sold off a bit more and he obviously went down. It's also the risk with buying the fodder card and why I preferred Phil Foden. But you're going to see here, his low point was actually on Tuesday. That's because it was just fodder movements in all honesty. And then Wednesday, when fodder normally drops even more, he actually started to rise because he was now out of packs and his supply was done. The most fodder dies and stays low at this point of the week. But you can see he starts to rise, and that's because he's Napoli, who have a lot of hype. He's good, decent links for clubs now, and also very good stats. So you can see he is now steadily rising. And you've caught the low point. You could have caught it on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. In basically any point, there's a low point. On the fodder ones, it's slightly different. The usable cards tend to be on the weekend. The fodder ones obviously move with fodder. So if fodder goes low, that's when you invest in them. Firpo is another example. Phil Foden. Pretty much the same graph, fell off a cliff, fell off a cliff, fell off a cliff. Into Friday with lightning round supply, became fodder, but was way too good a card to be fodder. Look at those stats, Premier League and Spanish, 15k. Not to mention Leeds isn't an awful link with Melia. His low point was here Saturday. You can see steady rise, and then we got the selling again on Monday for whatever reason. But you can see the low point here on Friday night, Saturday night was much deeper than later in the week, and now you can see card is just slowly and steadily rising. It wouldn't surprise me if he's much higher by the time you see this video. We then have Christian Romero, who again also moved like Anguissa, was fodder, moved up and down with fodder. Realistically, just got moved out of packs. The card is honestly usable, so people want to use him because they can't afford his his World Cup card. That has basically caused his price to move. Now he's out of packs. People are using him. They're linking him. The cheapest fodder I'm going to show you right now. 86 is not 20k for sure. Just to show you a bit of proof, 86s are not 20k, they are, oh, that's the wrong squad, sorry about that. They are currently sat at 17k if I believe, so they're clearly not fodder. Yes, 17k here. Clearly not fodder. And with 87s, the 87 fodder here is 21k, just for a bit of proof with those cards that they aren't moving like fodder. We're now on to the next week. The current team of the week while I'm filming this video is one with Griezmann in it, and of course you know I like to laser sell this card. Let's see what his low point has been so far. We're currently on Sunday at 7 PM. His low point looks like it was here on Friday at content. Got a bit lower, sat very early in the morning on Saturday, so you can see the trend here with Saturday and the supply. We didn't get any sort of good gamble pack today. We just got the campaign pick, which hasn't caused much panic on this card, and you can see he has gone low again last night. Today it does not look like he's going that low, as there's no real reason for him to panic sold. That is how you move with all the cheaper cards, and in honesty you can make easy coins by going all in on these cards every week. Not to mention when you get good cards like Griezmann, Firpo, Foden, who are all very usable cards in the game. People will easily use these cards in the game if they have no coins or they're on a starter account. They will laser sell really well while you wait for them to rise. Now going on to the big boys, we do have a couple expensive cards which are a bit harder to trade in this current market, but we'll try and figure it out. So far we've seen Salah. He's gone just only down as expected. With lightning round supply, he hit a low of 650. He did actually rebound. There was a nice little trade to be made there. If you time the low point, obviously high risk, high reward. Saturday, as I said, very late night Saturday, hit his low of 600, rebounded again 650, and now he's at 650. Apparently it looks like this card's low point will have been 600. We'll have to wait and see on this, as we kind of got burnt last week on a different card, and I'm going to show you who it is. It's Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi was following the exact trends that we normally see, but really low on Saturday. His lowest point of 700, he actually rebounded here, and he got really low 700, under 700, rebounded nicely, almost got to 750. He did get to 750 over here, you can see. And yes, new promo team. People are using the card and thinking he's terrible. In honesty, I'm not really too sure why this card crashed so heavily, because a lot of the other market did well. But the only thing I can think of is I used him and I didn't like him in game at all. Apparently Teddy used him and he didn't like him either. And things like this is going to cause the cards to crash. And he went all the way down to 617. Maybe he holds here now. Again, I would say very, very far away. And in all honesty, that is the big reason putting me off this card. But the only thing that puts me on this card instead is that he does have a 92, which is 400k. So he will keep the floor high. In all honesty, these more expensive informs are much harder to predict. So I'm not a huge fan of them in general. I'm going to quickly show you a guide we have on the Discord. So this is the Patreon guide. This is one example of a Patreon guide we've made. All the other guides are written here. I'll just quickly flick through it. This is from last FIFA, but it still applies, so it shows you how the market cycle repeats. Investing and club stocking is really good, so if you wanted to club stock any of the discard informs, we don't really see them move too much this year, but when it is the weekend and they are discard price, you can buy them for the min price. There's zero risk attached, and maybe they do rise one day. You can stock every single one. Late Friday night, before 6 PM on a Saturday. Late night Saturday seems good these days too. Maybe even Sunday, because we've started to get these hero picks. Basically any time on the weekend, late night seems to be a good move. Club stocking is simply buying one of every inform and throwing it in the club and selling it when fodder rises or informs rise, but we haven't seen that really in a long time. But normally, yeah, when we get party bag SBCs, they used to rise. Hopefully we start to get some of those and stuff like that starts to work every week. Because investing in discard informs each week used to be extremely simple, easy and reliable coins, and there are a lot of coins made. And the most important thing is the risk-free play, and it says low risk here, but it's risk-free because obviously you can't actually lose the coins. Informs are a very easy way to make coins, and in all honesty, eventually we will get party bags and we will get SBCs, which do make the base ones rise, and the demand will be there. If not, we'll have to wait till team of the season, but inevitably that'll happen. But the supply on this year's team of the weeks are much higher in general, so be careful of that, as they may not move like previous team of the weeks for that reason. But other than that, try and identify the most usable cards. This team of the week's not the greatest. There's only really 2, I would say. If you go back to last week's, you can easily identify 4 cards, which I did. Foden, Anguissa, Firpo, Romero, just anyone you would think is usable. Let's go back to team of the week 17. Who would I say is usable in here and how they performed? Bruno Fernandes, I would say, is usable. Medina is usable. Reynoldo's even usable. De Bruyne, of course. And even Tavernier was much lower. If I quickly show you Tavernier, I'm not sure if it's going to show me all the data I need. He was like min price. As you can see now, he got all the way up to 12.5. You might not think that's a big rise, but you're talking a 20% rise on a card. And if you put all your coins in, you'd made 20% back. So there is that. And don't sleep on these ones, because as long as they have good stats and they're usable, they will have demand, and the demand will remain. Hopefully you like this style of YouTube video. Obviously, back to the regular videos tomorrow once I'm home from my holiday. Everything should be all back to normal. But yeah, thank you for watching all these videos. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about investing in informs. It's not too hard, it's low risk, and it's honestly, you're only going to learn from trialing and error. Like, subscribe, share the video, join my free trading Discord, stream twice daily on Twitch when I'm back from holiday, so make sure you give it a follow. Rickers21 on all socials. Yeah, and like, subscribe, share the video, let me know what you thought of it, guys. Hopefully you learned something today. Take it easy.